What's up guys, so for those who have seen my channel before, this would be a slightly different video as I don't usually make product reviews, but I've just clocked 100 km in these Puma Deviate Nitro Elites, and I like to just share a bit about these shoes for someone who's looking for a high value carbon racing shoe in 2023. And for those who are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. I'm a triathlete who makes videos on everything triathlon and endurance sport related, including my workouts, trainings, and races. So it would be dope if you could leave a like and subscribe. And with that said, let's talk about the Puma Deviate Nitro Elites. So when I was buying this shoe, I was looking for a shoe that's lightweight, responsive, durable, and affordable. And with most shoes on the market right now that cost $300 to $400 Sing, these just seem to be the best option. So I got it whilst it was on a sale. Now, I did a few interval workouts, tempo workouts, as well as a couple races. And I can say that I can really feel a huge difference between running these as compared to running other shoes, such as my Pegasus 38 or my Zoomfly 4s. Alright, so starting off with some stats for those who love numbers. This shoe has a heel to toe drop of 8mm with a max stack height of 36mm. And in terms of weight, it only weighs in at 190 grams, which when you compare to other high-end racing shoes on the market, is pretty much the lightest of them all. It's also much cheaper than other shoes such as the Nike Vaporfly, the Hoka Rocket X, or the Saucony Endorphin Pro. So if you're looking for a lightweight, low stack height shoe, then these are some stuff for you to consider. I think there's a lot of unique things about this shoe, and its upper is definitely one of them. It comprises of this papery thin and almost transparent mesh upper, which makes it super lightweight and breathable. But on the downside, because of how thin it is, if you're wearing bright colored socks, it can see through, which aesthetically I don't think it looks that good. Now, I do want to say though, as much as I love this upper, it can feel a bit hard and weird at first when you put it on, just because of that plasticky feeling, and it's very different to your usual, more common knit uppers. So I would really recommend you trying it out in a store just in case you don't like it. But overall, it's a great upper, and so far I have had no issues with the durability despite its thinness. So it's a 10 for me. Next, let's take a look at the midsole on this shoe. So the midsole mainly comprises of this P-Bax foam that's unique to Puma. It's got the Nitro Elite foam, which is a similar foam used in other Nitro series by Puma. But the midsole on this shoe is extremely soft yet bouncy, and in fact when I was doing my research I found out that it's actually the softest foam on the market right now, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on if you're someone who prefers a softer or firmer ride. But personally for me, I really like the cushiony feel of this shoe, and it's also extremely durable, so that means that even after many runs you don't really see a decrease in performance or any visible compressions by the shoe, which you would in other softer foams in the market. However, it is important to mention that the carbon plate on this shoe is not as aggressive as other racing shoes out there, which means that the geometry combined with the low stack height makes this shoe feel a lot flatter compared to other racing shoes out there. And again, that could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on if you're someone who prefers that rocker feeling. Personally for me, I don't think it's an issue. I think it's actually pretty good because I can run my longer runs at slower paces, and it's still gonna feel very natural compared to those more aggressive shoes. And honestly, the midsole is very responsive, so there's no issues when I'm trying to run fast as well. Lastly, before I get into the pros and cons of the shoe, is the outsole. The Puma grip on the shoe is definitely unique and way grippier than anything I've ever experienced. It works well on road and track surfaces in both wet and dry conditions, and the durability on this shoe after 100 km is also superior. I mean, I can barely see any differences between the outsole on this shoe right now compared to when it was new. So it is definitely a 10 for me. So with all the individual components mentioned, I'm just going to go through a list of things I liked and disliked about the shoe and things that you should look out for before you buy it. Of course, like I said, they're insanely lightweight, and you can really feel the difference when you're wearing them. They just feel so airy, and your legs are just able to turn over so much faster. Also, I really liked how durable these shoes are. You can use them for both training and races, and there's no issues with the durability at all. And that's great if you're not planning on buying multiple shoes for races and training, so you can use these for actually both. And lastly, they are just super affordable when you compare them to other shoes out there. I mean, in Singapore, I've seen them go for only 170 Sing dollars if you buy the older generation. So the value is unbeatable, and you're gonna definitely get a lot of mileage and enjoyment out of them. On the other hand though, some things that I didn't necessarily hate, but just wish it was done better. So firstly, the upper, as much as I love them, I just feel like it was a bit harsh for the first few runs, and it just felt a bit unnatural, at least for me. But honestly, after the third or fourth run, I started getting used to them, or either maybe because I broke them in a bit. And honestly, right now, it's not even something that I worry about anymore. So I don't think it's the biggest issue. It's just something for you to try out for yourself and see if you like it. And I have absolutely no issue with the midsole. I think it's great. But for a carbon plated racing shoe, I just wish that the Puma Deviate Nitro Elites had a higher stack height as well as a more aggressive carbon plate geometry, because I think that the toe off is a bit lacking, and it just doesn't really provide you that feeling or that assist when your legs are tired. So if you're expecting this shoe to feel like an Alpha Fly or a Saucony Endorphin Elite, then you're probably going to be disappointed. And my last dislike is something that may not be so applicable for most people, but personally for me, because I also have to race in these shoes for multi-sports such as triathlon, duathlon, and aquathlon, that means I need a race shoe that can be put on and off with ease for the fastest possible transition. And these shoes are just not the best at that, especially because of this very floppy heel counter. It's very hard to slide my foot in, especially if you have the laces pre-tied. So if you're someone who's buying a shoe for the same purpose, then honestly I wouldn't recommend it. I think there's much better options on the market, and you can definitely get something that's much better for those purposes. So in conclusion, I highly recommend these shoes for the majority of runners. I think they're great value, and you can use them for almost all sorts of runs, from long runs to speed intervals, or races from 5K to marathons. And I mean, if Marcelo Jagova could win the Prague Marathon in these shoes, then I'm pretty sure they're way more than good enough for the average runner or even the more advanced ones. So with that said, thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful in some shape or form. And since this is my first shoe review, do feel free to leave any feedback or comments or questions in the comment down below. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.